For day 13 notes, this is just what they call X factor. So you look at the number in front of X squared, which is a 1, and the last number, and you multiply these together. So 1 times 15 is 15. You put that in the top of the X. At the bottom of the X, you put the middle number. Now, the factors of 15 are numbers that would multiply together to make 15. So 1 times 15, 3 times 5. I look to see which one of these pairs could combine together to make 8. Has to be 3 and 5. So 3 plus 5 makes an 8, and if I multiply these, I get to 15. To write this in factored form, you say x plus 3, and then x plus 5. Okay? The idea is that if you were to do a 2 by 2 square here to go ahead and multiply these together, you would get back to this original answer. So in part B, let's do the same method. So the first number times the last number gives me 24. I put the middle number, negative 11, at the bottom. The factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. So which one of these pairs could add or subtract to make a negative 11? 3 and 8. I know that 3 plus 8 is 11, but I see I need to have a negative. So you actually make both of these negative, and the puzzle should work. A negative times a negative creates a positive 24. If I add the same sign, I keep the sign. And so my factored form is x minus 3, x minus 8. So just stressing the different vocabulary terms, this part of your work is where you show your work. This is called X factor. This part here, when you write your answer, is called factored form, or if you factored your trinomial. Okay, letter C. First number times last number gives me negative 15. And I'm trying to get to positive 2. So my factors of 15, which I know we've already found before, 1, 15, 3, and 5. Which one can get to 2? Well, 3 and 5. And I know that I need to have this side of my x factor to have the same signs. So if they're both positive, it has to make this 3 negative. So 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. So if I write this in factored form, we have x minus 3 and x plus 5. For letter D, we do the first times the last, so negative 20. And we're trying to get to the middle number, which in this case is a negative 1. So for the factors of 20, we have 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. So for 4, it looks like 4 and 5 could make a negative 1 if I subtracted them. Again, if I have a small number first, big number second, these signs have to match. So I would have x plus 4 and x minus 5. Okay, for letter E, 1 times 36 is 36. And my goal is to get to negative 12. So for 36, we have 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. So which factor can get to 12? Has to be 6 and 6. So these are both going to be negative, because if I add the same sign, I add and keep the sign. If I multiply a negative and a negative, I get a positive 36. So this, because it's exactly the same number, your answer can be written in two ways. You could go ahead and say x minus 6, x minus 6. Or you could just say x minus 6 to the second power, since it's a repeat of the first thing. Okay, last one for this example. 1 times 18 is 18. We're trying to get to 9. We have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So the only one here that could get to 9 would be 3 and 6. And so I would write x plus 3, x plus 6. All right.